therapy, for anybody who hasn't been here to Hayes Physical Therapy, which is our physical therapy practice and our new optimal health and fitness space. And we're really excited to have Dr. Rob Cabry with us this evening. I've worked with Rob for a number of years, but in this way, totally different, with mental mastery of golf and other things. So in a minute, I'll let you tell a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
But as you all know, golf is really, really a hard sport. Some days are really great, other days are really not so great. So one of the things that I just want to share with you before I turn it over to Rob for the hours, that one of the reasons that we have our Love to Golf division, which Ryan Strain is one of my physical therapists, and Ryan runs that whole division. But one of the things that we do is, we address the body. You know, do you have the body for golf? And do you have a really good golf fitness program? And so how do we know this? The very first thing is to measure it through the Titleist Performance Institute, the TPI exam, which is an international exam. That is a 16 top tier test that Ryan is certified, I am as well. And it will quickly analyze, does this golfer have the stability for golf where they need stability? Do they have the motion where they have motion? Are they firing in the right kinematic sequence? And very quickly, then we have targeted exercise for that. And for those aging joints that aren't moving well before adapting the swing, can Ryan help to open up those joint spaces to create a happier, healthier game with more consistent shots? So the body is important. The second thing is skill. Whether you're a beginner golfer or whether you are a scratch golfer, Ryan is working with people down at the back nine. Paul, raise your hand. We have a partnership with the back nine down in Paoli, and we actually are performing K-Best swing evaluations, which, if you don't know what K-Best is, a lot of the professionals on the tour use K-Best to actually just see how is their golf swing from setup all the way through their entire follow-through sequence. And the human eye doesn't pick up these places where maybe you're not rotating enough, but this actually does. And then it sets up a nice stage to actually do training and facilitating that training to try to improve your swing. And some of you here are part of that program, so I know you can speak to the fun that you're having down there with Ryan. So body, skill. Last thing that I want to talk about is the nervous system. Best athletes in the world have the ability to regulate their nervous system. Anybody here hear the buzzword that's been around lately, heart rate variability? Anybody know what that means, right? It's the ability to have a resilient nervous system, no matter what's happening. So you're on the golf course, the best athletes in the world, they're in that high stress situation. They have that ability to down-regulate into the parasympathetic nervous system to stay calm, like that guy, Aaron, who had a lot of internal tools to be able to maintain his calm composure when he won at Aronimink. So the nervous system is really super important. We have a way to actually analyze that nervous system to see, how balanced you are for resiliency, and for your immune health, and then be able to help to train that out with some of our advanced healing technologies. So Dr. Rob's going to give you some tremendous information. Before the night is over, because you have attended this nice little workshop, we have some tremendous prizes that we want to offer to you guys that have a lot of value. So thank you for being here, and when we close tonight, we're going to look for our first, second, and third place prize winners, which is really some really great sessions. So anyway, Dr. Cabry, Rob, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet.
Hey, everybody. So I'm Rob Cabry, sports medicine physician for 25 years. Took care of everybody from real little ones to professional. I traveled internationally with U.S. figure skating for 10 years, so I've seen a lot of stress during sports, especially in that community. About 5 years ago, I got interested in sort of just looking for something different and helping athletes in a different way. So I started to train in mindset. Has anybody used a mindset coach? Good. You start fresh. helping athletes understand how the mind is involved with whatever sport, whatever, anything they do in life, and started building it over time using some mindset stuff that you can read about and see online. What makes my program different is that I use sports hypnosis, and we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end. But when I say hypnosis, as I did when I first started looking into it, you picture the stage hypnosis. I touch your shoulder, you think you're a chicken, right? It's not that, okay? Hypnosis, medically and for sports, is learning a way to relax your body and your mind so your mind becomes receptive to whatever you want it to hear, okay? It's very safe. It's not, even though hypnosis means sleep, it's not sleep, okay? You're just eyes closed, but you're actually in a heightened state of concentration. I can't make you do anything you don't want to do, so if you come to me because your wife wants something fixed, it isn't going to work, or your husband or your boyfriend, it has to be you. I treat a lot of smokers. I smoke 3 packs a day. If you come to me and say, I want to quit, you'll walk out that door and never smoke again. But if you come because your wife said she wants you to quit, it doesn't work. So your mind wants to protect you, and we'll go over that in a minute. So anyway, the benefit of also adding in the sports hypnosis is it takes the things that I teach and takes it even to a deeper level where it sticks and it doesn't go away, okay? And then we'll talk more about that towards the end. But like what Chris was saying, to reach your peak level of performance, okay? Not to be the world's greatest athlete, but simply to reach your peak, you need 3 things. You need to be physically fit, right? So you've got to have the right muscles for, we'll keep it at golf, have the right muscle flexibility, joint flexibility, strength for golf. You need to know how to play the game, right? So you need to know the techniques of swinging the clubs and analyzing the field and the green, that kind of stuff. But you also need the third part, which is mental training, okay? If you picture like a 3-legged chair, if I take a leg off, I wouldn't sit on it, okay? So you'll never reach where you could possibly be without all 3 of them, all right? You can have a solid, be a mental rock, but if you don't know how to swing the clubs, you're not going to be any good, okay? So it's not magic. But you need all 3 to reach whatever peak level you're capable of reaching or even beyond. But you need the mental part. And I teach a lot of younger athletes. I teach this program for all sports, but they need to understand that as you get more and more elite, mental is 90% because everybody else you're playing with is just as fit as you are or better. They're just as good at their sport or better. But if they can get freaked out in their head, you're going to win. Okay? So same thing, but with golf, I see it almost as 99%. They actually looked at it with professionals, the time that they address the ball. Take a 5.5-hour round, they address the ball for 30 minutes. Actually hitting the ball for 30 minutes in 5.5 hours. Okay? That's 5 hours of thinking about your next shot, or thinking about the shot you just messed up, or thinking about that water hazard that's coming. Right? It starts to build and build and build. And all it takes is a couple bad thoughts to cause bad shots. And then you can start to see the game start to crumble because you're letting it affect how you're figuring out what you're going to do next. Okay? So my job is not to teach you golf, not to teach you fitness. That's their job. My job is to give you as much information as I can about how your mind works and how you can use it to your advantage and not disadvantage. Okay? And obviously, you're not going to learn it all in 1 hour, but I promise you what you'll leave here today will be very valuable, okay? Because you'll understand it and you'll have some techniques that I'm going to take you through and have you take with you that I think will be really valuable, okay? So, your mind, all right, our brain, we're going to call it our mind, it's our thoughts, okay? Its only real job is protection. So it wants to give you what it thinks you want. So if you get nervous every time you approach a certain shot or a certain hole on a green on a course, it remembers that, says, Rob doesn't like this hole. We need to protect him. Let's get him nervous. All right, because it thinks that's what you want because you've been telling it with the thoughts in your head. Okay. So by doing techniques and talking to essentially. Think positive, right? You hear that all the time. I'm going to teach you how to actually do that, okay? Because by telling the mind what you really want, it wants to give you what you want. It's all it wants. It wants to keep you happy and keep you protected, okay? The cool part about the brain, it's the only organ in our body that's neuroplastic, which means it can change itself. Okay? Different parts of the brain can change to do different things. The heart pumps the blood all in one direction, can't switch directions, can't switch what it does. Liver cleans the blood, can't switch what it does. The brain can actually change different areas to do different things. They're actually doing research now, non-surgical, teaching the brain in stroke patients to control both sets of limbs, or all four limbs, from a single side of the brain that wasn't damaged, and getting them to walk again. Okay? Simply by getting the brain to switch what it does, change the neuroplasticity to another spot in the brain. So it's very, very powerful, but we can make changes really, really simply. Okay? There's three parts to the mind that are important to understand. First is the conscious mind. That's what you're listening with to learn what I'm saying, and I'm giving you the information from our conscious mind. It's how we analyze things. It's how we learn something, like learning a certain way to drive the ball. Okay? Use our conscious mind to learn and process and get it. Okay? Once we get it, we then put it into our unconscious mind. Our unconscious mind controls every cell in our body. Okay? But also has every memory from the first breath you ever took, stored in there forever. Everything you've ever seen, smelled, tasted, it's all in there. But it's not a memory like you picture it, it's more like a perception. Okay? So think about when you first learned to drive, right? 10 and 2, nervous, stop sign, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let me look again, let me go. Now you take the keys, jump in the car, start the car, talk on the phone, talk to the person next to you. Maybe you don't even recognize you went over the bridge, and you're over the bridge already, okay? Because you've taught yourself to drive, you put it in your unconscious mind, and your unconscious mind then takes over. And it does it for you, okay? It's the same with everything else, okay? If you learn how to play golf the way you want to play it, it's in there. And then you say to yourself, well, why can't I get it every time I need it? Because there's a third part. The third part is the critical faculty, or I call the inner coach. Stands in between the two. So you take your conscious mind, you learn something, you store it in the unconscious mind, and now you got the inner coach, which is the security guard. This is the part of your mind that has your limiting beliefs. All right, so you learn how to hit that 300-yard drive. No problem. You know exactly how you're supposed to do it. But every time you step up, you just can't do it. And you're wondering, why can't I do it? I can never do it. It's because you have that limiting belief that you doubt yourself, and that inner coach is reminding you, you can't do it. Come on. Yeah, let's be serious, man. You can't do it. It's stored in your unconscious mind. If you can get to it, you can do it. But you got the security guard in the way. Okay? The key to all of this is, one, to distract that inner coach, and hopefully replace the inner coach with one that actually has the beliefs that you want, and not the negative stuff that you've stored up for so long. Okay? Questions so far? All right. Promise it won't be all scientific. I want you to understand that part. And to understand how powerful different parts are, our conscious mind can keep track of about 7 things at one time. So picture in the kitchen, microwave's running, something's crackling on the stove, TV's on, people are talking. Once you get to about 7 of those things, and then your spouse walks up behind you and says something, you don't even know that person's there, and they think you're ignoring them, you're not listening to me, because you've already got the 7 going, and that's the 8th one. So unless you drop one of them, you're not going to figure it out. It's like when my kids be fighting when I'm cooking. I'd go handle the fight, forget I got water boiling, and it would boil over, because that was now the 8th thing in my mind. Your unconscious mind can track 20 million bits of information per second. Okay, so picture I put 7 golf balls on the table. You guys could all probably keep track of the 7. Now I put 20 million golf balls. Your brain can track every one of those every second. Your unconscious mind. It's that powerful. Okay? What's crazy is when we want to change it, and everything I'm telling you has been scientifically tested and proven. When you want to change it, the message we give it has to be at the level of about a 7-year-old. Okay? Because a lot of our limiting beliefs, they believe from studies, started before the age of 7. Okay? And so that's why when I teach things are very visual. Okay? Your brain wants to see pictures. It likes pictures. And the crazy part is it also doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So if you can imagine it enough times, your unconscious mind will assume it is real and try to make it actually happen for you. okay? I think it was Einstein said, your imagination is your preview to the future. If you can imagine it, it can happen, okay? Maybe 50 years from now, but it can happen. So that's why this process of learning these things to change how you think can really be that easy. You take something that's so complicated and you show it an easy way to adjust itself, and it will do it because it realizes, hey, this is what Rob's changing this. This is what Rob wants, so we need to change what we're doing, okay? First thing, again, the mind likes pictures. I tell my athletes, have a target, okay? Not a vision board, a hopeful board, a target board. And you can have multiple pictures on it, but for now, I'm just telling you, for a year from now, pick a number. Let's do the handicap, right? If your handicap is 20, all right, I want you to write the number out and put it somewhere on your phone or on something, or your bathroom mirror, so you look at it every single day of what you want your handicap to be a year from now. Now, if you're 20, don't put -2. It's not going to happen. Okay, it's got to be achievable, realistic, and timed. Let's say you're 20 handicap, put the number 15 up there. Don't do anything but just look at it once a day. Okay? You now have given your brain a place that you want to be, and it's going to try to get you there. Will it get you there every single time? No. But if you don't give it a target to reach, it'll try to get there like this instead of going straight there. Has anybody heard the Jim Carrey story about the $10 million check? No? So Jim Carrey in 1985 was nobody. He was in bars telling jokes. He wrote himself a check for January 1995 for $10 million and stuck it in his wallet. And all he did was look at it once a day. That's it. Okay? And I'm not saying everybody's going to make $10 million. But 10 years later, okay? So 10 years, put it in his wallet, just do it every day. That's all he did. And he talks about it on YouTube, so you can find it if you don't believe it. In December of 1994, 1 month prior to 10 years, he was hired for Dumb and Dumber, and they paid him $10 million. Okay? And he talks about it now in a way that he says, the weird thing is that I took jobs that normally I would have hesitated, thought, what? And I look back saying, why did I do that? And he was convinced that it was his mind of getting him there more directly versus going like that to get to the $10 million. Okay? So with kids, I'll have them put stuff up there. If they're a goalie and they've had 3 shutouts, they'll put 6. They want, they never do well in biology, but they want an A. Biology, they put an A. It gives their mind something. And what happens once you give it somewhere to go, it turns on its reticular activating system, which is like a giant radar. And it wants to give you what you want. So it's going to start searching for ways to get you to that 15. Okay? It might pop something in your head to practice more. It might pop something in your head to see somebody about a particular technique you want to learn. Stuff that you may not even notice until later. You're thinking, wow, I did practice a lot more this year. Or I did play a lot more this year, and I brought my handicap down, I guess. The mind's going to try to find ways to march you there, take you by the hand, and bring you there. Okay? Again, scientifically proven. And if you don't want to give it a year, if you want to give it 5 years from now, put some stuff up there for 5 years. I have 5 pictures in my phone for 3 years from now of what my target is, of things I would like to achieve. And I just, once a day, I pop them on my phone, take a quick look, and away it goes. And I put that in there a year ago, and I'm starting to see little trickles towards that, in that direction. They're a little, interesting. Next thing is how we talk to our mind. There's 4 words, and some of you, I know you guys, some of the people heard this, but 4 forbidden words that I want you to get rid of. The word don't. Like you're coming up. Oh, here we go. Here's that water. All right, come on, Rob. Good shot. Don't hit the water. Just whatever you do, don't hit the water. Whatever you say after don't, you are 50% more likely to get what you just said you don't want. And they studied this over and over, but a cool one is they did a college girls soccer team. Half the group, they brought in kids from the college all around the goal. They had to take shots on goal. All around the goal, music, screaming, flags, the whole deal. The others, they took to a whole other area, quiet area of the field. They had to take shots on goal. Only thing there was a coach behind them saying, don't miss. Hey, Rob, don't think about missing. Don't miss. That group missed 50% more time than the people distracted by all the kids. Simply one word, okay? It's like, you think about a blue car. If I say to you, don't see a blue car. See anything you want, but don't see a blue car. How many people have just seen a blue car in their head? Almost everybody. The brain has to see what you're asking for before it processes the don't, and then it's too late. The other word is can't. That's number 2. They studied this with specialized brain imaging. If you say can't enough times, you will never, ever be able to get there. Your brain literally, it lights up, and then as you say can't, the light goes out, and all of the transmitters go away from that area because it doesn't want to waste its energy for something it can't reach. Okay? So if you say, man, I'd love to be a minus, I love my handicap to be -6. I can't. You never will. I promise you that. Remember I said that. Okay? If you say, I'm getting there, is everybody going to get to a -6 who says they're going to get there? No. But your brain will try with the reticular activating system. You say you can't, the light goes out. Okay? Third word is try. Try, the brain, it perceives as a word of failure. It gives you about 50% of the effort you'd like from your brain when you use that word. So we do it all the time, right? Have a great game. I'll try. Okay? You just turned your brain off. And they've studied that too. Okay? So try's got to go. Have a great game. I'm on it today. I'm ready to go. Maybe terrible, but you didn't use try. Your brain is still going to try. Your brain is still going to give you what you want to try to get you. Pass that again. Try to get you through it. And the fourth one is why. You have a terrible round. Walking back to the car. Why did I play like that? The big computer can't process the word why. Then the inner voice starts. Because you didn't practice enough. You weren't warmed up. It starts giving you all the excuses. You start hearing that voice. Instead, if you say, what can I do different? Or how can I do that differently when I'm out there again? And don't wait for an answer. If you get a voice in your head, go to the doctor. But you won't get voices in your head. Things will just start to happen. You'll approach the ball and all of a sudden you hit it differently. Well, that was good. The brain starts searching for ways to make you play better because you asked for it, rather than just why. So can't, try, why. Try to get rid of those and use them as infrequently as possible. But if you say something negative to yourself, and that sucks. I hit that terrible. Whatever negative you say, if you say the word, and they studied this too, I don't know where these scientists find time for this stuff, but you say the word however and follow it with something positive, the brain will actually forget what you said before it and act on what comes after the word however. Man, that was terrible. However, I got this next one. Right down the middle, right down the middle. All of a sudden the brain starts hearing down the middle, I got this one, not why'd I do that, that was terrible, all the stuff that brings the body down. Okay? Simple things. Super simple. All right? Sounds ridiculous. But they've shown it over and over and over to be effective. Okay? All right. We'll lighten it up a little bit. I want to show you the power of the mind here and how it can work for us and against us. I'm going to sit at this table, and you guys, since it's small, let's gather around me if you can. People can try this if you want. So, like I said, you want to see how this works. The subconscious mind controls every cell in our body, also every muscle in our body. And it will give you what you want. And I promise this is not a magic trick, and you can try it if you want to. But all I'm going to do is focus on front to back, front to back, front to back, front to back, side to side, 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 circle, circle, circle. Creepy, right? Circle, circle. Okay? The unconscious mind is using the little muscles in my hand to do what I want. Okay? We'll pretend that's a water hazard. Front to back. Front to back. Now I'm concentrating on my ball going straight where I want it. Now I start looking at the water and I start thinking, oh, water hazard. Don't hit the 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 water hazard. See how the momentum slows down? And if you could see the line, it starts to drift towards the thing you're thinking about. Okay? Because the mind is hearing water hazard, not don't hit the water hazard, or oh no, there's the water hazard. Your mind is hearing water hazard, and the ball will actually go where you don't want it to go. Okay? And you could actually, it's very simple. I made a little hook and a ball, put a string on it. You could actually work on this to help with your focus and concentration. You can literally just hold it out and just focus on where you want the ball to go. Okay? And literally, It's boring, but you can play around with it and start doing it so that when you start thinking straight, I want this ball to go straight. I don't want it to go in the water. I want it to go straight. And I'm not doing anything, I promise. Okay? You can work on your mind focusing on when you're thinking straight or you're thinking out here. Think about it. Make the ball take that direction. Your mind will start to process and remember this. It becomes an anchor. Okay? All right, we can sit back down. You guys can try that again later yourself if you want. So it becomes an anchor. So what an anchor is, and we can create good anchors and bad anchors. And I'm going to show you some ways to create some good anchors. But if you think about it, or what's an anchor for the brain? So think about it. Songs are the most easiest, right? Because I like Christmas. If I hear Christmas songs at Christmas time, it gets me kind of in a light mood, better mood, right? I ran cross country in high school, and there was a song that we always listened to before we ran. Now when I hear it, I get a smile, and I can picture those good memories, of those people. Well, I've anchored that song to give me pleasure, okay? You can anchor things to go in your favor, but you can also anchor bad things. Like if you had that same hazard on the course that you hate and end up in it every single time because you anchored it, you told your brain, that stupid tree, stupid tree, stupid tree. Your brain's hearing tree, 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 tree. Wants to go to the tree. You've anchored it, okay? I have a baseball pitcher that I've been working with for weeks now, and he finally broke. He did all these techniques I taught him amazing. He was amazing. He'd step on the mound for the game. The minute he got on the mound, he'd crumble. Literally would throw a wild pitch and then just fall apart. We did a bunch of stuff, other things. Finally got down to it. His first game of this season, he had a really bad game. He hit 4 batters, and he was just distraught. It got on Barstool online, so everybody in the world got to see him hit the batters. Okay, and other teams would be yelling Barstool at him and everything. He anchored bad to the mound. Okay, he anchored his anxiety, his fear, and his mind that wants to help him danger to the mound. So with him, we did a lot of hypnosis, and we took the anchor away, made a good anchor out of it. He's been doing amazing. He's got 40 college teams going to see him June 3rd pitch. But that's what it was. That was a bad spot for him. Just like these hazards can be for you. You've got to figure out a way to make it more positive. And we'll go through that. Another thing to think about. You either win or learn. You don't lose. Okay? You only lose when you fail. You only lose or fail when you quit. Okay? Everything has to be a stepping stone to getting better at your game, not throwing the clubs down or chucking your bag into the pond. Okay? You have to, and what I tell athletes to do, when you play bad, you have a bad round, write down 1 thing you did good and 2 things that you want to improve. And focus on those things. When Edison invented the light bulb, it took him 1,000 tries. They said, "Why'd you fail 1,000 times?" He said, "I didn't. Just found 1,000 ways it wouldn't work." Right? So he kept doing it until he got it right. So try to think of it that way. It's a way to get better. All right, I don't want to hit it that way next time. What do I want to do differently? Do I want to lay up? Do I want to try to make the distance? Whatever. Find the answer in a positive way. Don't be like, "All right, I'm done." Like every golfer probably does at some point. You want to throw your clubs in the pond, and then you hit this amazing drive, and you're back again next year. All right. Do something fun again. Can everybody think about maybe a couple of drives, a couple of chips, and a couple of putts that they really love? They just absolutely amazing. And you wish that you could do that every single time. Can everybody picture something like that? Have you thought about it? Good. Everybody grab a ball. We're going to create an anchor. All right? Just pass this around. So what we're going to use here is visualization. And we're going to create an anchor with that ball. Okay? Remember, your mind likes pictures, and it doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So once everybody has their ball, let me know. You can keep the ball. Some of them might be dirty. Everybody get one?
No, we need two
No,
back
no.
here.
Got one? Two in back, please. There's one. There's a
All
runaway.
that.
There's a runaway. Okay. Now, won't do it yet. What I'm going to ask you to put your feet flat on the floor. You're going to hold the golf ball in your dominant hand, lightly. Okay. And what we're going to do, not yet, but in a minute, I'm going to have you close your eyes. And I'm going to ask you, we're going to start with drives. I want you to picture one of your best favorite drives. You remember it. I want you to see it. I want you to hear what you heard, the birds, whatever. I want you to feel how good it felt in your system. Okay? And every time I say the word, you're in the zone, I want you to squeeze the ball. Okay? So all you have to do is imagine I'm going to be talking. When I say that's because you're in the zone, you just give it a squeeze. And you do it with your dominant hand because when you're playing, it's going to be the hand doesn't have a glove on. Okay? So everybody, feet flat on the floor, nice and relaxed. Ball lightly in your hand. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, close your eyes. And let's start with a drive. I want you to picture, pretend, imagine that you're there again. At the tee. You hit the ball. Just see it. Feel it, hit it, see it, hear it, feel how amazing, and you're like, oh my gosh, look at that. That was awesome. You feel amazing because you're in the zone. Squeeze the ball when I say in the zone. Keep seeing it. Keep seeing it. If you have to hit it again, hit it again. But I want you to see it. I want you to hear what you heard, feel what you felt, because you're in the zone. When you hit it like that, you're in the zone. And now let's try another one. Think of it, another one, another drive that you really were proud of. It really finally did what you wanted it to do. Feel how it felt hitting it off the tee. That smack. Hear it, see it, be there. Be there, feel how good that felt because you're in the zone. You know when you knew it, you felt so good because you were in the zone. You were in the zone. And now I want you to picture a fairway shot. It's an approach shot to the green, okay? Doesn't have to be real far. Let's do a chip shot. One that you knew, you lined up, you hit it, you knew, boom, that's going to go right on the green. See it again. See what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt. Be there right now. Birds, people, whatever. Feel it because you're in the zone. See yourself hitting the ball right now. Hit the balls and then squeeze that ball in your hand because you're in the zone. See it landing exactly where you want it to land because you're in the zone. You are in the zone. Let's go to another approach shot. Think of another one. The one you wish you could do every time you approach the green. Feel the shot. Feel the hit off the grass because you're in the zone. See it flying exactly where you want it. See it, hear it, feel it. You're in the zone. Because you are in the zone. It feels amazing because you're in the zone. And now let's get up on that green. Let's think of a putt. Doesn't have to be long, just a putt. You said, you knew before you even hit it, this was going in. That's how you felt. I want you to hit it because you're in the zone. See it, feel it, hear it. You are in the zone. Hit it again just so you can feel it again. Line it up, see it happening, putt it, you're in the zone. It's going in. You hear that little plunk as it goes in the hole because you're in the zone. You are in the zone. And you're so in the zone that every time you approach the ball, every time you address the golf ball, you are in the zone. You're in the zone. Everybody take a deep breath, relax and open your eyes. So what we're creating is an anchor. Anchors don't happen overnight, they take practice. Okay? You do it at home. Anytime you want to, you choose the ball, do exactly what I did. Picture an amazing shot, be there, like you can see it, you're there, you're visualizing it. This is it, this is me, I'm in the zone. And only squeeze when you think about it, I'm in the zone. Let it go normally, because it needs to be a trigger. I'm in the zone, in the zone. The other thing I want you to do is keep an extra ball, which probably most do, in your pocket. You hit a great shot, you immediately reach in, squeeze the ball, see your awesome, the real shot, Squeeze the ball and say, I'm in the zone. Hit that because I'm in the zone. It adds to the anchor. Your brain will start to realize that when you dress the golf ball, okay, you don't always have to squeeze the ball. You can just stay in the zone. Eventually, it's going to pick up on the words. I'm in the zone. Here I go. I'm in the zone. Ready to go. I'm in the zone. It's like that music. It'll start to trigger focus and lock your brain in to give you exactly what you want. Okay? You're creating a shot anchor. Okay? It's a focus anchor. But add to it every time something good happens. Every good shot, squeeze it. Maybe you get a phone call. Something good happened at home with the family and you feel really great about yourself. Do it again, because it's all about just anchoring good, focused, positive things to the ball. Okay? In my course, we do it and I do it again in hypnosis. But essentially, if you want to know what hypnosis feels like, that was it. That's exactly what it feels like. You're relaxed and you're imagining. Nothing more than that. Obviously, we go a little deeper, a little more focused. It doesn't feel any different than you felt with your eyes closed. That's it. I mean, there's more to it, but that's it. I'm throwing my ball and my pendulum around. Okay, so that's setting an anchor. This will help you set an anchor as well, directing the ball by watching it move. The more you do it, the better it gets. When I first started doing it, I could hardly move the ball. Now my mind knows what I want. Just squeeze it lightly, doesn't have to be hard. That'll start getting the mind focusing when I'm looking straight. It knows that's where it wants the ball to go, straight. Okay? And you're going to anchor your focus in. All right? They're really important. Again, everything I give you, we're trying to show a 7-year-old what we want. Okay? One more anchor. This we call the brush off. Like I said before, you don't fail, you don't lose until you quit. Everything has to be win or learn. Okay? You hit a terrible shot. Goes deep into the trees. Frustrating as hell. All right? Normally you may be like, here we go, what am I going to do? A big ordeal. Okay? You can still get frustrated and let it out with a F-bomb, whatever you do. All right? But the anchors we call the brush off, whatever technique you like. I do this, brush, and you step forward. You're leaving it behind you. Okay? Everything that's in the past stays in the past. Like, stupid trees. And you step forward. You're like, all right, I got this. I got the next one. You just start thinking, all right, what am I doing? I'm positive. I'm going to do it. Here we go. You're taking the negative and getting rid of it so it doesn't eat you as you're walking to the woods to hit the next shot. Okay? But it's practice. It doesn't have to be a big thing. You just do your hand, whatever you want. Pat your glove on your leg. Whatever your thing is. One of my soccer players, she likes to shake her hand. So she steps forward, shakes her hand. But you're getting your brain to know, when I do that and step forward, I'm leaving it behind me. Okay? Roger Federer talked about it. He, probably one of the greatest tennis players, right? Won 80% of his matches. But he only won 54% of his shots. 54%. But he still won it all. Because he learned, he had, I think it was when he bounced the ball 3 times. He had a really bad shot. And literally, he could forget it. And he would actually have to watch film to remember what he did during the games. Because he could erase his aces. He would erase those. Because he didn't want to be like, oh, here I am, I'm amazing. And he would erase the bad shots. So he could keep going. And when you only win half your shots, normally athletes will crumble. Because they're only successful half of the time. Or a little more than half. But because he could erase it, he won 80%. Because none of it mattered. As soon as that shot was done, it was done. It's like the first shot of the match again. And it's something you really have to practice, but it will be invaluable if you could do it. So the brush off, whatever you want it to be, love, it's just step forward and then say something positive. You know, I got this one. We got it. I'm just going to chip it out and keep it. All right? Let your brain know you got to let it go. You can't let it eat you for the next 4 holes. Okay? All right, next. Any questions so far? Good.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Federer, for getting aces, it would seem to me that you would want to reinforce aces. So why would you forget?
He knew he could do them, but he didn't want to keep that flush of good feeling. He wanted to just reset every time he was ready to take another shot. So it wasn't forget it like I don't want it. It was he wanted to get rid of the flush of good and the flush of bad and just be sort of solid. You know, every time he stepped up to hit or serve, I had to feel the same way every time. It was that thing. It wasn't getting rid of good. It was just resetting to be exactly the way he wanted to be every time he approached the court.
But asked another way, that's a good question. You know, it wouldn't be wrong to say, I can do aces.
Right.
I'm an ace machine.
Well, and we're going to talk about visualization in a minute. But yeah, what you do is you leave in 15 minutes. When you're home for 15 minutes, you're going to visualize that ace over and over and over again, so that you anchor what you just did. He just didn't want to have that clogging him when he was playing.
But
So it was to erase it at the time,
not to
but
forget.
use the valuable stuff afterwards. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yep. Okay. Now, talk a little bit about how we get the body to relax when we're worked up, anxious, nervous, whatever. Anybody have those feelings when they approach a shot? Nervous, right? Feel a little, oh boy, here we go. Or that sort of, you know, the brush off isn't working. You're still pissed off because you did something poorly just now and you can't shake it. Okay? A quick thing to do, and you can look this up too. This has hundreds of articles on bilateral stimulation. Okay? This is a way to get yourself set to take the shot or get rid of that, you know, the buildup because you're not playing well. Okay? When we have an emotion, anxious, fear, frustration, anger, centers on one side of the brain. If you stimulate both sides of your brain at the same time, it becomes like windshield wipers on a car, and it wipes it away. Okay, so I got the butterflies. I'm anxious. You know, it's Good Friday. Everybody's on the course Good Friday. There's 20 people going to watch me tee off. I always hated that. I want to throw up. Okay, get nervous. All right, what am I going to do? Golf is easy again because you've got a ball. You can use a club if you want, but the ball's even easier. All you're going to do is think about, all right, how do I feel? It's like an 8. All you have to do is give it a number, and all I want you to do is have something in your hand, and you're going to cross the midline of your body. Okay? That's all you're going to do. Cross the midline of your body. Take some nice, slow, deep breaths. Helps. And the other thing that helps is not moving your head, but watching with your eyes. You don't have to. You don't want anybody to know what you're doing. Just standing there at the tee, just kind of doing this, passing it over. You do it for a minute. I tell people to set their phone because a minute's going to feel like forever. Okay? But you want to do it for a minute. Take a deep breath. All right, how do I feel? No, I'm still like 5. Do it again. About 95% of the time, you'll get it down to 2 or less with 2 passes for a minute. Because it's shooting neurotransmitters across both sides of the brain. It can't hold on to anything single-sided, and it will wipe it away. Okay? Use a lot in sports where there's time, like golf. My skaters, they're practicing. They skate off, bad jump, grab their water bottle, and just pass. Okay? When I have, you know, sports like soccer, they don't have a ball in their hand, I have them just tap their shoulders around on the field. Even if they're moving around watching the ball still coming, they're still anxious. As long as something's crossing the midline. Okay? So have something cross the midline. It's called bilateral stimulation. If you don't remember, you can look it up. There's tons of information online. Very, very effective. This technique and the next one, which I'm going to teach you, is tapping.
So when you do that, you're not thinking of anything?
No.
You're
Nope.
literally
Literally just watch the ball. You can think whatever you want. I mean, you can even think about the problem. You don't have to. Just give it a number so you can think about, all right, am I still an 8? Because you want to know if you're coming down. That's all, just a number thing. But no, and even there's some literature on eye movement. Again, looking like our wipers. That's why just watching it with your eyes. You know, if you're anxious in the car before the round starts, great time. Do it even longer. And you can watch with your eyes so nobody's looking at you. But if you're just standing there wanting to relax, don't feel like people asking you what you're doing, you just toss the ball back and forth. Okay? But use the number and try to drive it down to 2 or less. Okay, that's the key.
So the 8 was just an anxiety level.
Yeah, what am I? Yeah, we're really worked up. Try to give it a number from 1 to 10.
Yeah,
I'm really worked up. It's like an 8. Even if it's a 4, do it. Get it down to it's like, all right, I'm good. I'm ready. Okay. Another technique. Has anyone heard? I know these guys have heard of tapping. Emotional freedom technique. So it's based on acupressure points on our body and neuroscience. Studied tons and tons of research. So if you want to know the research, you can look it up pretty easily. But for getting rid of negatives, I use a 6-step tapping. How we doing on time? We're okay?
Good, good.
6-step tapping. All right. Don't do it yet. Just kind of just follow me. You can have a copy of the film if you wanted to, and I can, if you want to, remind you. I'll send you a picture of that has the dotted points of where to tap. So with tapping, what you do is you want to think about. All right. What do I think? I'm about to play. What I feel, really anxious. Give it a name. Really anxious. Anxious golf. Somebody annoys you playing with Jim. Something that really gets you aggravated. Give it a name and give it a number. All right. So anxious golf, an 8. Okay. So all you do is give it, and the reason to give it a name is you're going to use that. All right. You're going to tap 6 spots on your body. Best to do in the car. Probably a little crazy in the middle of the golf course, but you do you. Okay. You start tapping on your head, and people say, "Well, how many times do I tap?" I want you to say your name for it 3 times. Anxious golf. Anxious golf. Anxious golf, top of my head. Just cut my fingers in the center of my forehead. Anxious golf. Anxious golf. Anxious golf. 3 times. 3 times on the bone of the side of my head. I won't say it, but I'm just going to tap there. 3 times on the bone under my eye. That's 4. Right? 5th spot, just below the collarbone where it feels soft. I use my whole hand because it's pretty liberal in that area. Say it 3 times. Grab your wrist. Take a deep breath, let it go, think about it. What's your number? If you're not a 2 or less, you do it again. If the name changes, that's fine, whatever you want. But you give it a name, you give it a number, tap it down to a 2 or less. Again, another huge one for my athletes they love, that they can do when they're sort of on their own. Anybody want to try it with me? I don't have to know what the problem is. You just have to give it a name and a number. Okay? So, that feeling you have, what are you going to call it?
The specific situation.
Or yeah, just give it a name. I don't even have to know what it is unless you want to tell me. I don't care.
Probably like trepidation.
Trepidation. And how does it feel now? Scale of 1 to 10.
Well, I just did the tapping, so it kind of went down a little bit.
But it did go down. What was it before you tapped?
Probably about a 6.
Okay.
6.5.
Where are you at now?
Like a 4.
Good. Yeah. Let's take your hat off so you can actually tap the scalp. So we're at a 4. We're going to call it trepidation?
Yeah.
All right. I use the palm of my hand just to kind of make a wide grip on the top of the head. Trepidation. 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 Good. Cup your fingers right here like this, middle of the forehead. All the way up. Catch the whole forehead with all 4 fingers. That's it. Trepidation. 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 This bone on the side of your eye. Right there, right where the bone is. Trepidation. Bone under your eye. Right here, me. Right here. Bone. Trepidation. 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 Collarbone. Just below the bone where it's soft. And that bushy part right there. Yeah. Trepidation. 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 Grab your wrist. At the meaty part. A little squeeze, deep breath. Relax. What's our number now?
Like a 3.
Okay. Try to get, when you do it, try to get it down 2 or less, okay? And with that, it just helps kind of reset the nervous system, bring in the parasympathetics and kind of calm you down, okay? Questions about that? The bilateral stim is so easy to have with you when you need it, okay? And I like to tap when it's really bad, tap first, get it down, best I can, and I use the bilateral stim to kind of help me when things are starting to brew, okay? And it can be really helpful to just get it where you're not boiling, all right? Like do the bilateral stim before you throw your clubs into the pond, Man, I've seen that a couple times. That sucks. Not me. Practice. How many people practice or just play? Do we practice? Okay. When you practice, you want to practice under pressure. What does that mean? Every ball has to be hit as if it's your last shot of the PGA. You can't just be up there throwing balls down, just whacking them around. The reason is your brain, again, needs to process and set the information. When I step up to a ball with my club in hand, I'm on. I'm focused, I'm ready. If you're flopping around, just hitting balls, like, yeah, whatever, just maybe warm up, doing whatever, not paying attention, not taking it seriously, when you address the ball, it's going to take 3 or 4 holes for your brain to realize, oh crap, this is a game. We got to take this seriously. If you do it every time you approach the ball, your brain will adjust and know you're in the zone. Okay? Hard to teach the young athletes that practice, and they just get out there. They don't take it serious because it's just practice. But once they do, and they practice as if, every scrimmage at practice is the game of their life, it changes the way they play.
Okay.
Almost done. Next is visualization. I know we've done some of that already. You did that within the zone. Okay. There's a new technique that we're doing for visualization that was created by NASA, brought to Team USA, and I teach it to everybody now. We call it your tube. Okay. So what I want you to do, and in golf it's easy because you can set it up. What I have other sports do is they'll I have some race car drivers. They'll find video of the guy they want to mimic, and they will watch them race. I make them do it. We start off with just 5 minutes, then watching them race. The second 5 minutes is they are watching them race, but imagining it's them in the car. And the third time is they see the race again through their own eyes, as if they're in the car racing. Put electrodes on the muscles, and they'll actually fire the same muscles as if they were actively doing the sport that they're doing at the time, and start to get the muscle memory that you need. So what I would recommend to you guys is one of 2 ways. One, when you're trying to learn something, have your golf pro or whoever you take your lessons from hit the shot the way it's supposed to be hit and talking through it. I step up, here's my position, here's my legs, my swing, I hit the ball, and film it. Okay? Have them do it a couple of times. Watch that over and over, maybe 20, 25 times. Reset it, watch it again, but now you're watching yourself. You're imagining that's you hitting the ball, not the pro. And the third time you do it again, but you actually see yourself hitting the ball as if you're looking through your own eyes. It takes some imagination, it takes some practice, but the success has been bar none. Okay? It's hard to pick a pro you like and watch them film because they're getting up there and they're doing different things. But if you can have the pro do it, or the pro film you do it and say, okay, that one's the one you want to watch. You did that perfectly. And watch yourself over and over, and then just do 2 parts. You watch yourself, and then you watch yourself actually seeing the shot as if you're looking at the ball and hitting live at the time. Okay? And then finally, they've shown that visualization, 1 hour of visualization is equal to 7 hours of physical training. Okay? So I convert that to make it easier because nobody wants to sit and visualize for an hour necessarily. Do 10 minutes of visualization and you've done 6 hours of physical training as far as your brain is concerned. So what I tell you, go for a lesson. Do the lesson, go home, sit for 10 or 15 minutes, close your eyes, relax, and visualize the lesson again. Once you do that, your brain processes and stores the information at a much hyper level. So if you do an hour with a pro and 10 or 15 minutes on your own, you've just added another hour of training to in that 10 minutes, right? So 10 minutes is equal to, right? So 1 hour is equal to 7 hours of physical training, right? 10 minutes is worth an hour, roughly, okay? So you do an hour physical, add 10 or 15 minutes of visualizing the exact same thing over again. You just did 2 hours of physical training as far as your brain is concerned, okay? And it makes it easy because that's not a lot of time. Our high-level athletes will visualize for hours. But the visualizing has been proven over and over. I don't remember the story of the guy, I think it's either Korea or Vietnam. He was a prisoner of war for 7 years. And he was a golfer, he was a member. So all he did every day was play the course, every single day for 7 years. Never touched a golf club. Got released, went on the course, handicap dropped 20 points. First time he played, hadn't touched the club in 7 years. Right? Your brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. And you visualize it properly, not visualize, the mistakes. Okay? Visualize it as if as you want it to happen. And if you're not taking lessons, you can simply, if you went out and played and had 5 good shots, go home, remember there's 5 good shots, visualize them over and over and over again. Because now when you approach that same shot, your brain is looking for that information that you just gave it. okay? If you said to me, after all this hour, I'll do one thing, I would say visualize. 100%. The most valuable thing we can do. Another story. Did you hear about the recent F1 driver, the guy who won the gaming championship for F1s, the car motorsports? Real quick. He was world champion in the game. Never, ever, ever sat in an F1 car. Ever. Just won the game. Okay? They said, we want this kid. We're going to take him to the course and see what he can do live. Took him to the exact same course he won on in a video game. Drove him around, taught him how to ride the car, showed him how to do it, had the pro go, had him go next. He was 5 seconds behind the pro. Never ever drove a car except for when they took him to the course. So visualization's real. It works really, really well. Okay? And it's so simple. Okay. And hypnosis, I'm just going to touch on it real quick about what it is and what it isn't. So with hypnosis, it's a bad rap because what we see the stage show, you touch somebody on the shoulder, they dance around, they think they're a chicken, whatever. Okay, it's not that. If you ever want to have a party and you want me to come, I can do that. It's fine. But with the medical stuff and the sports stuff, it's really just getting the body into a deep level of relaxation. You are fully aware. If I had somebody sitting there and we're doing it, you're fully aware of everything going on. If smoke alarm goes off, you're going to open your eyes, say, we got to go, the place is burning down. You're that aware, okay? But you've got yourself so relaxed that now that inner coach that I talked about that's saying all the bad things, the limiting beliefs, wanders off. The doors to the unconscious mind open up, and we can make whatever changes we want to make. As long as you want to make the changes. All right? You're not asleep. I can't make you do anything you wouldn't do. You won't tell me your deep, dark secrets. Okay? I give the smoking example because I do smokers quite a bit as well. If you come to me because you want to quit smoking, I guarantee you walk out of there and you'll never smoke again. If you come to me because your doctor wants you to quit, doesn't work. Because your mind will only allow something to come in those doors that you want, not with something somebody else wants. Okay? I can't make you do anything you wouldn't do otherwise. Otherwise, my wife would be running around naked all the time, and she's not. I did say it though once when we were doing the hypnosis. She just opened her eyes like, yeah, we're not doing that. But what it does is it allows the body to relax, allows those doors to open, so that you can make the changes that you want to make. And so I can anchor that in the zone, so that literally you'll address the ball, and your brain is like, I'm in the zone. Okay, it doesn't mean everybody wins the PGA. It just means you're more focused now than you typically are because we've stored it in there. Safe, easy, fun, and I also teach my students how you can do it yourself. I teach you self-hypnosis, so you have a trigger, put yourself in hypnosis, and tell yourself what you want, and you can make significant life changes. Questions? Man, I was that good. Anything you'd like? You have a question about anything that you think mentally wise you'd like some answers to, or other thoughts you might have had?
That's fascinating, the hypnosis stuff. So you say, so how long would it take you to teach somebody?
Hour? 45 minutes? Because all I do is I put you in hypnosis and I create a trigger. I just say, squeeze your hand and say deep hypnosis. And I tell your mind that every time you say those words, when you're sitting, you will go into hypnosis. And you will go. But you're totally, if you're sitting in your living room, because you're going to wave somebody else for you, you're going to wake up. It's not, people picture, you're in a trance or out. Yeah, some people slump like that. Some people just sit. And anybody can be hypnotized. People say, oh, can't be. Smarter the better. Smarter's easiest. I have ADHD. They're visual brains. They're even better, because remember I said the visual. So I don't even need to do very much to put them in hypnosis. I just tell the story, it works for them. So anybody can be, just depends on how we work through it. But it's easy stuff, useful, helps to reduce our nerves, doubts, and fears. We work on a particular hypnosis regimen where I have you imagine hitting a ball that you first took, all my negative thoughts. I suck at golf, I'll never get any better. You crush it down into a golf ball, put it on the tee, hit it, and watch it explode. We go through that, and we do that a few times, and literally it can eliminate those beliefs that you have. We doing the raffle? I think I'm done.
Yeah. And Rob, do you do that in person or do you do that?
It's all over Zoom. That's the great part.
Okay.
In your own house, it's all over Zoom. I can come to you if you want. I don't have an office because I do all of it over Zoom, or I'll go to golf courses and do like workshops like this.